Mr. Sanjeev Prasad. He has been associated with Reliance India Limited since 1995 and is presently positioned as Vice President and Plant Head for Power and Utilities. He is presently working on carbon neutral wide hydrogen usage, biomass, and solar power utilization. He is also a skilled engineer, energy auditor, and chartered engineer. Today, Mr. Sanjeev will talk about operations perspective of plant's performance. So I welcome Mr. Sanjeev Prasad.
Performance is a very difficult topic that I have been asked to talk on. Performance in terms of power plant still remains sort of a vague topic, which is not visited as well as in terms of other facilities. Currently, the fundamental challenge is meeting the rapidly increasing power demand as you talked of, but it has to be met now in sustainable way at an affordable cost and an environmentally friendly manner. So a lot of things get into it as to how you will perform. What will be the performance? When we say performance for engineers, normally performance is a term that engineers will be excited with. This is what has happened. There is a significant implication that we have seen, and our thinking has always been technical in terms of performance. When you say technical, it is like you will look at how your boiler is performing, how your turbine is performing. But currently what we need to look at is more of economics. That is the only way you are compared throughout the world, and it is universally there. So if you want a universal comparison, it has to be on economics. It cannot be only on your plant performance. Yes, that economics, unless and until you understand the costs involved of each of the things, you cannot take things forward. Till now, the way we have been understanding the performance, it happens to be in terms of as to what is your availability, what is your reliability, what is your uptime, what is the capacity, how many trips are you registering, what are the forced outage duration. So we talk in terms of such numbers. And one more thing that we talk of is plant heat rate or the turbine heat rate. Then you may talk of something like efficiency of the boilers. These are the things that you basically talk of in technical terms. But as an overall perspective, as you get into this competitive world, there are a lot of things. When we talk of India, there is a lot of energy requirement that is coming up. Still, a lot of our requirement is being met by thermal energy. So thermal energy still, as informed by Nitish, happens to be the one that is supplying most of the power in India, although our Prime Minister dreams to make us dependent on renewable power. A lot of efforts have been made onto it, but yes, we still continue to have our most of the power from thermal power plant. When we say thermal power plant performance, what drives it? See, what's it? You will talk of things that you can control. We say it's a basic of controls. You cannot control something that you cannot measure. So if you want to control something, you want to control efficiency, you want to control heat rate, you need to measure, you need accurate measurements all around you. So better and better measuring instruments is something that is the need of the hour. Earlier days, you did not used to measure as many things on a boiler or as many things on a turbine that you have started measuring today. I don't mean that vibrations, I don't mean your bearing temperatures, and yes, you have been traditionally monitoring those things, but you have got into monitoring a lot more things. Now you get into checking your insulation quite often. Now you get into checking the heat losses quite often. Now you get into since you have to meet your environment norms, you have to look at it as to what are your emissions. Those emission measurements have to be perfect, because while controlling those emissions, you are losing on your performance. There is a loss on performance. Say if I have to control SOx, I need to dose lime. If I dose lime, I'll be losing some amount of heat there. Some heat is generated, but some heat is also carried away by it. So these are the things that will basically worry me. But on a larger perspective, when I say I have to be cost efficient means I need to use the fuel that is cheapest in cost. I need to have uptime that is best in the world. I need to have the reliability that is best. My equipment should not stop unless and until desired by the operator. If the operator wants to stop the equipment, then only the equipment should stop. That is a reliable operation, otherwise it is not. If it trips on its own, if it stops, an interruption on it is not reliable. You cannot measure it as reliable. There are a lot of tools that have got in these days which can help you with performance in terms of technical performance. Those technical performance measures are dependent on whatever instruments are installed or whatever data collection process you have. Large part of it, it also tries to become artificial intelligent module by copying whatever your panel officer does in terms of actions taken on emergencies that are there. See, like it will not capture something that a good field operator would have captured. That still has got an equal importance, but that field operator who was supposed to only take readings on gauges is now supposed to monitor something else. While moving around a boiler, he needs to sense that, okay, this area was not heated up as much. Today it is heated up. So he can add to it. That value may be too small, but yes, we are into an era whereby cost means a lot. Everything will be compared in terms of cost. When we say performance comparison, unfortunately, we do not have a uniform yardstick around the world which compares the power plants. The key metrics that I told earlier was like technical, commercial, environmental, and sustainability. It keeps on varying from area to area depending on as to what is required. It may vary even from company to company. Some companies may be using net GCV, some company may use a gross GCV. It is NCV, and some companies may be using GCV for measurement. So they are different concepts that are used. There is no such uniformity which says ki you use this for measurement. So it is all about data that you interpret, and it is all about as to how you compare yourself economically. When you compare yourself economically, you say that you are the cheapest power producer. You are the cheapest power producer, then only you sustain in this world. Although as on current date, this summer your prices have gone very high. If you look at power exchanges, that those prices have gone above 10 rupees during peak time. So that was never seen earlier. That is all due to a crisis also in terms of availability of coal. Yes, coal is available, but coal is it the right kind of coal? Can you meet the environment requirements with it? You can get coal that is there, which is of high sulfur. May not be useful for it. For your purpose, it may not be useful. It may not be making commercial sense to it. So we have become largely commercial operators, and as engineers, we need to develop a lot of commercial equipment if we are to survive in a highly performing world. Now, why further to this, when we say renewables, lot of things have got into renewables which we have to now fight with. Renewables are something on which the investment is one time. To make an investment, you install a wind turbine, does not have a high maintenance cost, it has got high initial cost. So after that, it continues to produce power for its entire age, say 25 years. Large investments have been there in terms of solar power, and for thermal power, one opportunity that is being pursued by the government happens to be the use of biomass. Biomass, when we say it is a fuel which is carbon neutral, as it is called, because no greenhouse gases are supposed to be emitted by it throughout its life cycle. You start using something which is agricultural waste around you. You can collect your fuel right from your own area and use it in your boiler by putting into some shape. You briquette it, you pellet it, or you use it as loose. So you go on using that renewable form. That makes you somewhat competitive. This has been helped somewhat by increase in coal prices in the world. Again, I told you it is all about cost. So you want to be the cheapest operator, cheapest one, producing cheapest power and cheapest steam so that you can survive. So performance challenge as usual will continue to be on economics, to be on social, and to be on environmental norms, which will continue to change and will become more and more stringent as the day passes by, as we see heated summers. So it is all and more that environmental norms will be stringent. I do not have any doubts about the industry having geared up to address these challenges and deliver to the best possible. Operators, I being an operator, happen to be geared up to deliver as to whatever is required and deliver the benchmark or the best performance. Whatever as per us happens to be the benchmark, although I told you there is no such benchmark that exists or a benchmark system that exists. Needless to say that this will be dependent on government policies that are there that will support us. Yes, efficiency. Yes, production. Yes, performance. Yes, performance is the buzzword of the day. Yes, we need to be an excellent performer. No doubt about it. And we will do it throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjeev.